Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to QGTV Chapter Studies Ramadan 2011. Today we're on day 16, so we're in the second half of Ramadan now, and we will be doing three chapters, which are chapter 26 Ash-Shu'ara, chapter 27 An-Naml, and chapter 28 Al-Qasas. So let's begin with Ash-Shu'ara. Ash-Shu'ara is a fairly long chapter, actually. It's over 220 verses long, and that's a little bit unusual for this stage in the Quran. Ash-Shu'ara, An-Naml, and Al-Qasas are also unique in the sense that they have the letters Ta, Sin, which open them. Shu'ara and Qasas 26 and 28, they open with Ta, Sin, Mim, whereas An-Naml opens with Ta, Sin. So inshallah in the future we'll be exploring the purpose of these letters, which are called the Muqatta'at. So the beginning of Shu'ara, it's about the reader experiencing some form of negativity. It starts with verse 3, which says لَعَلَّكَ بَاقِعٌ نَفْسَكَ أَلَّا يَكُونُوا مُؤْمِنِينَ. It may be that you have grief in your nafs that they do not become mu'mineen. So basically this is about the reader expressing the message. The reader is giving the message to the people, however the people's response is less than 100%. So naturally the reader feels down, and the Quran speaks to him. Verse 5 says وَمَا يَأْتِهِ مِنْ ذِكْرِ مِنَ الرَّحْمَنِ مُحْدَثٍ إِلَّا كَانُوا أَنْهُ مُعْرِضِينَ. And there does not come from the dhikr from Ar-Rahman renewed. So when a new revelation comes, these people, they turn away. So this is what this chapter is about, the essential turning away of the people. So the first instance of this is the story of Musa, which begins in verse 10. وَإِذْ نَادَى رَبُّكَ مُوسَى أَنِي أَأْتِي الْقَوْمَ الظَّالِمُونَ. So thy Lord called Moses, go to Qawm al-Zalimun, the oppressing people. So then Musa's dialogue with Fir'aun begins. Before that, Musa actually has a dialogue with Allah, because Musa feels the fear of the people. But Allah says, do not fear. So Allah is protecting Musa insofar as he is delivering the message. So we come to the ending of the story of Musa, which is in verses 67 to 68. Here it says, إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ وَمَا كَانَ أَكْثَرُهُمْ مُؤْمِنِينَ. Verily in this is a sign, in this is a sign, but most of them they are not believers. So this again takes us back to ayat 3, which talks about the rejection of the messengers. Then it continues, verse 68 now. It says, وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَهُوَ الْعَزِيزِ الرَّحِيمِ. So, and your Lord is Al-Aziz Ar-Rahim. If you pay attention to this verse, this is repeated after every story which is being told in this chapter. So next we move on to the story of Ibrahim, from verses 69 to 100 and it moves to verse 104. Yeah, and again we have the same two verses. It says, إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ وَمَا كَانَ أَكْثَرُهُمْ مُؤْمِنِينَ وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ. So that's in verses 103 to 104. So again, this is being repeated. Now we come to the story of Nuh, and that's in verse 105. Now a new pattern is established. So Ibrahim and Musa both have rather unique narratives, except for the ending. But the story of Nuh is somewhat more unique, somewhat more like the others, as we will soon come to see. It starts with كذبت قوم نوح مرسلين. The people of Nuh rejected the messengers. So there wasn't just one messenger, there were messengers. That's something to pay attention to as well. But basically, the rhetoric of Nuh is ألا يتقون. Will you not take God? Will you not have taqwa? Yeah. Inni lakum rasulun amin. I am to you a messenger who is trustworthy. Fattaqullah wa ati'un. So take guard of Allah. Be prepared for Allah's trials and tribulations. And obey. Obey what? Obey the messenger, obey Allah. Yeah, so Nuh has this kind of rhetoric going on as well. And to the end, at the end of his story, that's verses 121 to 122, again we have inna fi dhalika la'ayat wa ma kana aktharuhum mu'minin. So it's almost like God is telling us repeatedly, most people will not believe. Most people will not believe. This echoes chapter 12 verse 106 and verse 103. It's Yusuf, yeah, chapter Yusuf. And again, wa inna rabbaka lahuwal azizur rahim. That's verses 121 to 122. So next we have the story of Ad from verses 123 to 140. And again, it doesn't say inna fi dhalika la'ayat, but it does say wa inna rabbaka lahuwal azizur rahim. That's in verse 140. Then it continues 141 to 159. Again, the same rhetoric. كذبت Thamud. This time the people of Thamud, they rejected. So 141 till 159 with almost exactly the same pattern. That's the people of Thamud. Then the people of Lut, again the same rhetoric. ألا يتقون إني لكم رسول أمين. Verily I am to you a secure messenger, a trustworthy messenger. فاتقوا الله وأطيعون. Take God of Allah and obey. So again, the same rhetoric is being applied all the way to verse 174 and 175. This time, it does say, Inna fi dhalika la'ayat. Verily, in this is a sign. وَمَا كَانَ أَكْثَارُهُمْ مُؤْمِنِينَ. But most of them don't believe. وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ. And your Lord is Al-Aziz Ar-Rahim, the most exalted and the one who evolves you through a womb-like process. Yeah. Then verse 176 to 190 is Shu'aib, and it also ends with Inna fi dhalika la'ayat. Again, and that's verse 190, and Inna rabbaka lahuwal azizur rahim. Again, we have the same pattern going on, and that's the last of the stories. But notice what happens after these stories. Now it talks about the revelation from Allah. Now the Quran is not explicitly mentioned here, so you have to think of it in wider terms than just the Quran. It says, وَإِنَّهُ لَتَنْزِيلُ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. And this, or it, is a descent from the Lord of the worlds. نَزَلَ بِهِ الرُّوحِ الْأَمِينَ. With it comes down the spirit of faith and truth, or something is trustworthy. It's just like the Rasulun Amin we've seen repeated earlier. Ala qalbika, upon the heart of the reader, litakuna minal munzirin, that you may become one of the warners. Bilisanin Arabiyun mubin, in the faultless language. Wa innahu lafi zuburil awwalin, and it is in the institutions of those who are before you, or the earlier ones. And is it not a sign that the ulama of Bani Israel know it? So the people who are in a constant state of movement, they will understand this, because that's how the Quran is. So this is returning us back to the concept of revelation. Even though the Quran is not mentioned here, the Quran can be included in this as well. So The verse ends with, I think the verse 221 is the beginning of the ending, which talks about the people, the descent of the people on whom Shaitan descends on. They are those who lie and they cause enervation. They bring about a state of a lack of vitality. And the Shu'ara, those who can perceive, but they are distracted. So here Allah says that, they don't practice. وَأَنَّهُمْ يَقُولُونَ مَا لَا يَفْعَلُونَ. They speak about it. These people they can perceive, they speak about it, but they don't practice. It's not their habit. Except إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, except those who have believed, وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, and they have performed corrective actions. See, وَذَكَرُوا اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا, and they vivify Allah much. So this is the point of it. Whatever it is, we may receive these revelations and these perceptions, but unless we put them into practice, we will not be following the path of the Mursaleen, those who have been carrying the message. So that's chapter 26. So let's move on to chapter 27.